Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Today is Friday. Yes, happy Friday. Thank God it is Friday. For those of you that are the weekend warriors, here is your weekend. Enjoy it. Enjoy the night, for real though. Seriously, happy Friday. It is May 17th, 7:35 in the morning. We're going to break down this showdown slate once again. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 1 was very fun. Big swings in that game in terms of just Toronto being up huge and then closing the gap. When Kawhi comes off the court, was the Bucks winning by, I believe, 108 to 100, if I am remembering correctly. So, breaking down the showdown slate, there's a $450,000 prize pool still on Draftkings, so I will be continuing to break down these slates because there's six figures up for grabs. And although it is extremely unlikely that you win the whole six figures, somebody did it 2 days ago. Big T over on FanDuel did that. So yeah, we're going to break down into it. Before you go any further, if you're new here, my name is Sal Vetri, cover daily fantasy sports, so welcome to my channel. If this is redundant for the returning subscribers, I'm sorry, but just want to welcome all the new people here. I cover daily fantasy sports in all the major sports. I also do golf. MLB, I just started up a couple days ago. We'll be breaking down sort of pitchers, high level, early in the day, most likely right after this video for every single day until the NBA is over, and then WNBA will come out, NFL will come around, and then that's when the good stuff happens. So thank you for being here. Hit me with a like if you are here right now and you enjoy my content at all. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe if you get any value throughout this video, if you think it's different, if you think that I helped you or I had a good take, whatever it might be. And drop down your comments down below with your takes. Let me know down below, not named Giannis and not named Kawhi in the comments, who do you think would be the third best option, pure points? Not named Giannis, not named Kawhi. Don't even think about just building out a lineup. Who do you think would be the third best option if you're just talking about pure points? And maybe you think they're a better option anyway. So not name those two guys. Who do you think is the better option? Hit that notification bell if you just subscribed or you have been subscribed. Let you know when this video is about to drop. So whether you're on your way to work, you can listen to it more in a podcast format, whatever it might be. So thank you so much. I love doing this. I just love giving you guys value. Literally, it's like the best part of my day, 7:30 in the morning. Maybe not the best part, but the most thing I look forward to the most. So this is exciting. Let's break down this slate, right? All right. Woo! And where we're looking at right now, one game slate, Bucks, Toronto. What do we have in terms of Vegas? Let me just see what I pulled over from the Vegas dashboard. Target offense sheet, I guess you can say. We have a 6.5 point favorite for the Bucks, who are still at home. 111.25 team implied total. 104.75 for Toronto. And here's the thing: when Kawhi comes off the court, these splits are absolutely atrocious. Yes, Pascal Siakam is a great player. Yes, Kyle Lowry is a great point guard. But when Kawhi is off the court, they don't know what to do. Similar to LeBron with his previous teams in these playoffs, the 4 minutes, the 6 minutes that Kawhi rests become absolutely atrocious. The last game the Bucks won, I believe, on an 8-0 run when Kawhi came out to start the fourth quarter. Just atrocious. So yeah, what I'm looking at here, and there's some pricing things that I think are a little bit interesting. And right now we do have this filtered by projected points. Again, you can get these over on Patreon. Let me just filter this all out by, I want to just filter it all out by salary so we can just get a quicker look at what our salaries are looking like. So bear with me 1 second. And we're going to go by salary. There we go. So a couple of things interest me salary-wise. I think that an $8,400 Chris Middleton, after playing 36 minutes in that first game, I have him in for 36 minutes today. I think that he's a bit too cheap. That's something that stands out to me right away, and I think it's going to stand out to a lot of people. Malcolm Brogdon gets bumped up to $7,000, as he probably should. He's still going to come off the bench like they made us aware of that the other day. But Malcolm Brogdon played 26 minutes in the last game. Played extremely well coming back, and now potentially going to still come off the bench but see more minutes. I have him at 28. I have him continuing to increase his minutes and having those minutes pretty much get skimmed off of Brook Lopez, who had a lot in the last game, but really indirectly Brook Lopez, directly a George Hill, who saw 27 minutes in that last game. The thing that stood out the most from the first game, and things that we really can't predict game to game, was what this secondary tier, the secondary unit was going to look like now that Brogdon was officially getting a little bit more healthy. Well, the person who took the biggest hit was by far Pat Connaughton. He only saw 10 minutes in that last game. I have him at 12 today. The way I have my minutes breaking down, but he only saw 12 minutes or 10 minutes in the last game. George Hill seeing 27. Guys like Mirotic continue to see right around with their averages for the playoffs, 25. I feel comfortable predicting 25 minutes for today as well. So Brogdon, for an increase in 2 minutes, I think it's going to impact George Hill not seeing 27 minutes in this game. I think that you can continue to give George Hill the 27 minutes, then you just have to really strip them off of Pat Connaughton, which I think, based on game one, potentially could happen. So I might actually run that one out there. I might put a 27 minutes of George Hill in a 10 minutes. Well, actually, let's run that back. The reason I didn't do that is because George Hill is going to play the point guard and shooting guard positions. So if you're going to give Malcolm Brogdon 2 more minutes today, well, then you have to take those off of either Eric Bledsoe or George Hill. Pat Connaughton will play sometime at the 3. So that's why I have his minutes giving a little bit of a bump and it actually affecting George Hill, Malcolm Brogdon being back a little bit more. So in terms of building a lineup, in terms of your captain spot, look, there's studs. There's like 2 studs a day that you want to choose from, if not one real one. It's Giannis and Kawhi. If you keep asking me, who do I think is the better option? I have them really close today. I have Giannis projected for 57 points. I have Kawhi projected for 55 points. They are extremely close. They're both in the 11K range. It makes sense. And then there's a huge drop off. Like the difference between 2 and 3 is $2,000. And then it drops off even again $800. So you can fit a lot of interesting lineups in here if you choose not to have a Kawhi or a Giannis in your captain spot. I think it's dangerous. I think Kawhi is going to have to push it after game 1, realizing that when he comes off the court, they fall apart. Like they were in the driver's seat for this game. He comes off the court for 6 minutes in the whole game, and they fall apart. So 42 minutes for Kawhi, what he played last game. I have him at that again, but I'm not shocked to see 45, 46 minutes out of Kawhi here because that's really, they might need him out there the entire game for the most part moving forward for him to get anything done or for this team to really take 4 games from this Bucks team. And obviously going down 2-0, going back home is really what's expected in a 7-game series. You steal maybe game 7 or something like that, but it's always great to steal a game early, hashtag analysis. So if I had to pick a captain on the higher end, I'm probably picking Kawhi Leonard over Giannis. Look, the savings isn't that much. Giannis is $600 more, so you're not going to get a huge bump. You're going to save, $900 if you go to Kawhi over captain spot, which can get you somewhere, can leave you more money on the table. But I'm liking the narrative of Kawhi potentially playing 45 minutes today, which if he played 45 minutes, that's going to be, in my opinion, 7 more minutes on average than Giannis plays. And yes, Giannis is a much better point per minute guy. He's averaging like 1.8 fantasy points per minute in the playoffs. But Kawhi is averaging in the playoffs around 1.5. And if you're going to give me 7 more minutes out of Kawhi, the math just adds up there to where they're, if not very similar, Kawhi being a little bit better. And that's all I need there. And you get to save some money. So Kawhi would be my upper tier, my upper echelon captain pick for today. Like I said, the bottom range, and we only have 17 players actually going to gather points today. These rotations are extremely tight. Game 1, and we can look at it on Popcorn Machine, our handy friend Popcorn Machine here, which I love. It just shows you game flows. Game 1, the Toronto, both starters, but the Toronto starters, you had Pascal Siakam playing 42 and a half minutes around there. Kyle Lowry, 40. Kawhi Leonard, 42. Marc Gasol, 40. So they're 4 starters out of those 5. Okay, and let's just say Danny Green, 35, which is a big bump for Danny Green, who's been seeing around 30, 32 in the playoffs. So 4 of their starters seeing 40-plus minutes, and then the 5th starter, the shooting guard, Danny Green, only seeing 35. It leaves very little minutes on the bench to be secured. It leaves exactly 40 minutes to be secured on the bench. And really, the only guys seeing any bench time anyways have been Norman Powell, Fred VanVleet, and Serge Ibaka. But Ibaka has been seeing, as of late, low to mid-20s in minutes. He gets bumped down to 17. Fred VanVleet been seeing what he's pretty much been getting, 13. Well, he was seeing around 15. He gets bumped down to 13. And Norman Powell sees about 10, which is where he's been. The big issue here is these minutes have been large. And the only place I see minutes potentially coming down would be Marc Gasol, who saw 40 in the last one. But I have him projected for 38. Him being projected for 38, I give one of those minutes to Serge Ibaka, and I give another minute to Fred VanVleet, giving him 14, Serge Ibaka 18. But if Kawhi Leonard goes out here and plays 45 minutes, then I'm probably taking that off of Norman Powell to give him 7. So really, when I go back to my projections here, all right, once again, I just had a sneeze attack. But really, once I go back to my projections here, there's only realistically 17 people I'm getting points out of today. But if you want to ask me people that I have in play, it's a very small player pool, smaller than we've had. It's probably somewhere around 12 players that I actually have in a player pool today that I really feel confident that nobody else will be in a winning lineup. Although last night I thought that about Seth Curry, and he goes out after I said he was a terrible basketball player, probably watching my live stream. It's like he really did not watch my live stream, but maybe he did. And he goes and he scores, 16 plus real points, whatever it might have been. He played great. But Norman Powell I have projected for a ceiling of 10 minutes. Like if Kawhi's minutes go up, which they very well can be, Norman Powell's are going to be the ones that probably get the most directly impacted from that. Maybe a little bit of Serge Ibaka, but probably Norman Powell. So Norman Powell not in play for me today at all. Fred VanVleet, who probably going to see 13, 14 minutes. And then if Kawhi plays more, if Kyle Lowry sees 42 instead of 40, there's no real upside there for Fred VanVleet in those limited minutes. I don't want that either. At least for Seth Curry, you got 20 to 22 minutes, whatever it might have been last night, extended minutes out of Seth Curry last night. I don't think you get that out of Fred VanVleet, even if he knocks down a couple of shots in his limited run. And keep in mind, Fred VanVleet, when he's on the court, and when all these guys are on the court, Norman Powell, Fred VanVleet, Serge Ibaka, you're getting Pascal Siakam staying on, and he's a high-usage player. He's a guy who runs the offense. He plays the first 12 minutes, or he'll play the first 11, come out for a minute, and then start the second. That's these rotations that they run, so you're still getting a high-usage guy on. It's not like Fred VanVleet is going to control that offense. Neither is Serge Ibaka coming off the bench in those situations, especially with limited runs. So I really don't have any interest in any of these guys now. Serge Ibaka is priced at 4,200. I don't have interest there if he's going to play a maximum of 18 minutes. Now, in 20 minutes, if he gets there at 4,200, of course, a fantasy point per minute over a fantasy point per minute guy can get you there, especially in a favorable matchup down low if he's going to be coming in when Giannis is potentially out of the game. So, and you get Mirotic sliding to a 4, whatever it might be. I just have no interest in these guys off the bench. Look, these rotations have been tight. If we want to look at the rotations for the Bucks, they're going to get tighter. They're not as tight. You don't have every single guy playing in the 40s, which leaves a lot of minutes sparing to get a couple other guys potentially up to that 20-minute mark. You have Giannis playing 37 last game. Brook Lopez played 35, about 34 and a half. Middleton played 35. Mir took 25 where he's been at. Bledsoe played 30, which was surprising, more than his 26 to 28. Pat Connaughton, like I said, 10 and a half, surprising. Ilyasova, 14. Hill, 27. And Malcolm Brogdon, 26.7, which I have Brogdon today at 28, which honestly, as I'm looking at this, he played 26.7, which is very close, obviously, to 27. I have him at 28 today. I'm going to bump Brogdon up to 30 minutes. I'm going to be really bullish on Brogdon today. I'm going to bump him up to 30 minutes as games goes on, as he plays more. In the regular season, he was playing 34 minutes a game. I think he's getting very close to that form. So what I have to do now is I gave him 2 minutes. I have to take 2 minutes off of somebody else on this team, and I'm just going to take 2 off of Connaughton here. You can do whatever you want. You can take 1 off of Hill, give him 24. You can take 1 off of Connaughton, give him 11. I'm just going to keep it all even. I'll take 2 off of Connaughton. There's an easy switch. So for me right now, yeah, I kind of cut off my player pool probably right here. Connaughton, if you really want to go with a narrative that, oh, nobody's going to own him, but he's not a great player. He didn't play a lot of minutes. He's probably not. So I cut off those guys right there. That's what I just did. I blacked them out. So now there's 13 players in play, and the lowest that I'm willing to go is George Hill. But I also really don't want any interest, and this is where I said I had 12 players in a player pool right now. I don't really have any interest in a Serge Ibaka here. So what we're looking at now is the 12 players that I have interest in. The lowest tier guy would be $3,400 George Hill, because I think even if Brogdon sees those 3 extra minutes, more so, the 3-minute bump like I'm projecting, that he did not see last game. He saw 27 right about last game. I have him at 30 today. Even if George Hill is the guy who sees the biggest bump, he loses all of his minutes from that increase. Well, then it's 24 minutes still for George Hill. George Hill is a guy that they want out there, whether it's for defense, whether it's because of playoff experience, veteran status, whatever it might be. He's playing extremely well as well, so let's not take that away from him. He's a guy at 3,400 where I think that's the lowest I'm willing to go. And I think that's a fine player to have in your lineups. Moving up a little bit to this tier where you have your Brook Lopez, your Eric Bledsoe, Marc Gasol, Danny Green, and Nikola Mirotic. I'm kind of baffled that Marc Gasol is $5,800. He played 40 minutes in the last game, and this really wasn't a fluke. In the Philly series, he was playing 38 minutes a game in those final couple of games. So now that these games are, every single second is meaningful, they have Marc Gasol out there, whether it's obviously great defensive purposes. And I was a little bit concerned. I thought Marc Gasol might not get that run because Brook Lopez is a very traditional, or not even a traditional, a very untraditional 5. He's a stretch 5. He will go out, he will shoot 5 threes a game, and he will nail somehow 3 of them from the fucking logo. But Brook Lopez, that was no concern for Marc Gasol. They switched. They did whatever they had to do. Marc Gasol defended as well as he could. Brook Lopez being out there for extended run. Marc Gasol still stayed out there. So that's really great. Marc Gasol at 5,800 is the most underpriced guy on the entire slate by far, in my opinion. If you're going to tell me that Malcolm Brogdon is $7,000 and he's still coming off the bench playing 26 minutes, 27 minutes, whatever it is, even if he's going to play 30 today, I can pretty confidently project Marc Gasol for at least 5 more minutes than Malcolm Brogdon today. Whether Brogdon plays 30, Marc Gasol will play 35 at least. I can say that with confidence, and I'm tempted to say 7 minutes, 8 minutes more. And right now I have it projected for Marc Gasol 39 minutes and 30, so 9 more minutes for Gasol. And let's not forget, Gasol's a center. And we've been saying this all season long. If you're new here, centers are the best potential, or the best guys that you want to have in your lineups. Again, it's a showdown slate. It's highly variant. But if you do this over a long term, centers are the best guys in your lineups because, and then point guards right after them. Centers are closer to the basket, so they have easier 2-foot opportunities. They're going to get the easiest rebounds ever. Just everybody clears out, they get a rebound, or offensive rebound opportunities, block opportunities, double upside, all of that. That's why they score the most fantasy points on average than any other position. They're just there more for a lot of those things. It's easier to get rebounds than assists because you don't have to rely on anybody else to get you those rebounds. You jump up, you get the rebound. You don't have to rely on your teammate making a shot. The double-double upside is more so there. So $5,800 Marc Gasol is a guy that I'm not against throwing in a captain spot if you want to get a little bit different and then you want to fit in your Giannis, Kawhi, Siakam, Middleton lineups or whatever it might be, or your Giannis, Kawhi, Middleton, Lowry lineups. Whatever you want to do. I haven't built a lineup yet. I doubt I will, but I like Marc Gasol a lot today. Overall, by far the most underpriced guy in the slate. Marc Gasol, based on what he's been doing, even if he's not been the most productive point per minute guy in these playoffs, based on the minutes, the pure minutes he's playing, around 40, this guy, if he just goes out there and has a decent game, he should be priced in the price point of the upper sixes, the low seven range, right where you're seeing Malcolm Brogdon, and definitely above Brook Lopez, in my opinion. Now, Brook Lopez is interesting. Saw 35 minutes in the last game, something that we have not seen. We've barely seen him touch 30 in the playoffs. 29 was like, oh my God, they unleashed Brook Lopez. They let him stay out there. And it's because he had a terrible plus-minus on the court. I don't have him getting those 35 minutes again. I have him getting 32. He started off the game terrible, but then he started knocking down threes and knocking down shots, which let him stay in the game later on, closing out that game. So Brook Lopez, there's some interest at 6,600, but if you're telling me Brook Lopez or Marc Gasol, it's going to be Marc Gasol for me. And look, this is it. I got this player pool down. People are asking me, Sal, what players do you like after the video is done? I literally have 12 guys on the screen right now out of the 40 that are in Draftkings or whatever it is. So this is a player pool that I will work with. If you think somebody that's cheaper, Norman Powell, whoever it might be, is more so in play. Serge Ibaka. I mean, Serge Ibaka is sort of a stand for me. Obviously, it's not an unpopular stand. People are going to be away from him since his limited minutes, and he played terrible in that last game. So I think it makes sense. If you want to go back there, you can. This is just a stand that I will take. Another stand that I potentially will be taking is doing this to Brook Lopez. And really, it's because I'm going to play one lineup tonight. I don't want to go all in on a showdown slate. But taking a stand on Brook Lopez. His increased minutes in the last game I don't think will stabilize. And if they do, well, then I lose. But I don't think they stabilize. And I don't think he knocks down as many threes and whatever he might do as he did. I just want to see exactly how George Hill shot. This just came to mind. George Hill, I saw he was shooting terrible from that game. Yeah, he went 0 for 6. Okay, I thought he didn't make a shot. So the fact that George Hill went 0 for 6 might give you some worry, but they still didn't give Pat Connaughton any run. And then if we find our man Brook Lopez, yeah, look at this. Okay, so this is why I'm going to black out Brook Lopez, and I could increase it for you. He shot 21 times. That's not going to happen every game, especially if Brogdon's going to get more run, but just in general. 21 times. I mean, look at the rest of the times he shot in the playoffs. 7, 8, 13, 4, 5, 10, 6, 7, 7, 21. He shot 8 more times last game than any other time in the playoffs. He shot 11 three-pointers. Made 4 of them. 12 baskets. He had a great game. He scored. I mean, I'm not going to paint it. If you had him in the captain spot, you won it all, potentially. I don't know how it worked out last game, I imagine. But he shot 21 times. I don't think that's going to be the game plan moving forward. And again, maybe this limits Marc Gasol. Maybe they say, okay, he can't keep up with him, but he had a good shooting game. He's not going to shoot 21 times every game. Just based on the numbers, his average times of shooting in a game are like 10, 9. So I expect that to significantly reduce. People might jump on him, and I'll take another stand there. So now I have 11 players in my player pool, and it becomes a lot easier now as long as you get the captain right, which is not easy by any means, to build out a lineup. So this is what I'm going with. I don't really have anything more in depth than that. Danny Green is a guy who's just kind of there for me. He stays in my player pool because he's potentially a guy who fills in a spot. I much prefer Nikola Mirotic for $400 cheaper. He's just a better point per minute guy. Danny Green should be out there though for potentially upwards of 10 more minutes. So that's the only thing where it kind of balances out. The reason that I have Danny Green still in here is those minutes, compared to guys who are a little bit cheaper than him in George Hill, who might only see 25 minutes, who Nikola Mirotic, who might only see 25 minutes. So Bledsoe, another guy, and I have Bledsoe's the only guy left I don't think I touched on. Played 30 minutes in the last one. Good to see him getting increased run. If Pat Connaughton's minutes do stay down, it's going to benefit George Hill and Eric Bledsoe as well, even if Brogdon's come up. Those will be where the minutes I imagine come from. Bledsoe, not dying to get into my lineups, but again, if he falls in similar to Danny Green, that's where I'm at. I like George Hill on the cheap end. I like Nikola Mirotic at 4,800. I think you're getting a solid 25 minutes out of him with the upside of 30 if he's playing well. And Marc Gasol, I think he's the most underpriced guy in the slate. Malcolm Brogdon, even though he's significantly priced up, I think it's fine because I think the minutes are going to come up, and I think that now he's healthier. He's mid-season form. I think that's where he's getting back to. Maybe not 100%, but close enough to where he played 27 minutes in the last game and played extremely well. Kyle Lowry, $7,800. I think it's fine. Again, another guy who I don't really have a strong take on. It depends what you want to do. So let's talk captain spots. Leonard, I already said, is my high-end option, and then right after that would be Giannis. I'm not being sexy. Nothing there is shocking anybody, I don't think, by me picking those guys. It's pretty obvious that they're the two highest point total potential guys on the slate. Obviously, Brook Lopez goes for 55-plus in the last game, whatever it might have been. But right now I have Kawhi 2 points behind Giannis, but if Kawhi's minutes get bumped up, which I can very well see that happening, and maybe I become bullish and do that myself and give him 44, well, now Kawhi is going to score barely, like 0.3 fantasy points more than Giannis. So I have Kawhi as a captain. Right after that, I have Giannis. If you told me to pick a third option at that upper top level type of play, it would have to probably be a Pascal Siakam, but I also do like Marc Gasol. So Pascal Siakam, Marc Gasol. I'd say Marc Gasol third. There's no reason that in 40 minutes Marc Gasol can't have you a 20 and 13 game with 2 blocks of steal, and now Marc Gasol has 45 fantasy points. It's not likely. We have not seen it in the playoffs, but now that he's going to be out there, and it seems pretty confidently for right around 38 to 40 minutes, I have him at 39 today. I like it. So my stands today are pretty much not play Brook Lopez, get off of that, and not play Serge Ibaka. I think Ibaka was not a fluke in the last game, but I do think Brook Lopez was a fluke. Again, 21 shots is not going to be repeated. So thank you guys. Thank you girls so much. Let me know in the comments down below who will be the best captain, not named Giannis, not named Kawhi tonight. Curious to what you're going to say. Like the video. And if you're new here and you just subscribed and you're still here, comment down below that you subscribed. I want to say hi. I want to say what's up. Get in the Discord. That's where we will be chatting. I'm going to go watch some golf. Peace out, gang. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend.